Hey man, we're on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was listening to our intro music that we don't have yet, but we will one day. Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, mi compadre, my brother, Alex. How are you today?
What's up, everyone? We are on finally after a couple of minutes of technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. That's right. That's
Woo-wee.
right. Better late than never, as they say, right?
Yes, of course. Man, let's get right into it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, let's get right into it. What do you want to go into first? I'll let you lead today.
Let's talk some college basketball.
Okay,
All right?
So what I want to say about college basketball. Go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
So we're in March. Madness is upon us.
That's right. I love it.
And there's a few teams out there that we touched a little bit about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
About who that I believe a couple teams are in a heap of trouble, and they will be paying for it come tourney time.
Are we going to talk scandal again?
We can, of course.
Okay, I kind of don't want to talk scandal. Well, kind of do, right? Because Michigan State's one of the teams mentioned in the scandal.
Yeah.
But Michigan beat them, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
Michigan then went on to win the Big Ten tournament. Hey, what do you think about the tournament being a major conference doing their tournament a full week before everybody else?
I don't know why I don't know what the sense of doing that. I don't know if I haven't heard anything. Personally, I don't have a problem with it because a little early big tourney basketball championship.
In a way, it's kind of a genius move by the Big Ten, right? Because they were competing with, and I don't mean to disparage women's college basketball, but they were competing with women's college basketball tournaments this weekend, conference tournaments, because there was no other big tournament on the men's side, and so they were competing against the women, and the Big Ten's a major conference. I don't know if that's why they did it, but I thought it was kind of weird, and I wonder how will this affect a team like Michigan, right? They had this great run, but now we're going to get a full 7 days of basketball before we see anything. Is the committee going to kind of forget? They moved up in the rankings that were issued today. Will they drop come next week?
No, well, forget. I don't think they will. I think Michigan is. They are a huge sleeper team. I'm not going to say underdog. I think they're a big time sleeper team. But I don't know. that will affect their seeding.
I just hope that they've played themselves up past a 5 seed, right? Because everyone knows about the dreaded 5 seed. No one wants to be a 5 seed. So that's what I hope for. But on the scandal side, you really got to wonder. Michigan State. Now Michigan played them tough both times this season, but you have to wonder now how much is this scandal thing distracting to the team, Tom Izzo is getting just a beating from the media, and they're trying to go we're not going to discuss it route, and the media is not letting go of it because more stuff keeps coming out. Same thing with Sean Miller over in Arizona.
And look, speaking of Sean Miller, that guy didn't deny it. He didn't say he did. He needs to come out but like I said, nothing's gonna come out until after the tournament, I believe. But he should have been a little more straightforward. You know what I mean? Yeah, but he's in a tight spot. With the tournament coming up, and I'm telling you, man, those teams, they're not.
Did you notice that he only addressed one very specific thing? Now, Arizona's accused of several things. Mm-hmm. He is accused of one major thing, and a few others, but he only addressed that one thing in relation to a player that is still on his team. I found that to be very telling. Made me a little bit nervous for him. he's in trouble. I think he's in big trouble.
He better be happy he got back to coaching one game after. I mean, I don't know.
Well, anyway, back to the good stuff, right? The Michigan run through the Big Ten tournament was great. They, and I watched the games, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because I'm a Michigan fan, but man, they just seem to be together. They seem to be gelling. They seem to be just kind of enjoying playing together, and it's look, tournament time, even before the NCAA tournament, these conference tournaments are so much fun. Did you see the end of the Radford game?
I saw the game-winning shot. That's about all I saw.
I tell you what, even if you're not a basketball fan, just watch the last 4 minutes of these conference championship games. They're so much fun. There are very few blowouts, even when it's a mismatch in terms of seeds from the tournament. Like if an 8 seed or a 7 seed gets hot and makes it to the final, it seems like the championship game is always super exciting and not nothing to sneeze at. Those last 4 minutes are thrillers.
Yeah, very rare do you see a blowout, and that's what I like about college basketball a little more than the NBA is that you just know you're gonna get a tight game, and you're gonna get one of those half court heaves, and it's just gonna win the game and clinch you a spot in the tournament, and that's what makes it fun. I love it.
I mean, think about that game yesterday. Radford and who was it, Liberty or whatever. That other team, they're tied at 52. They're hoping to go into overtime. This is their only chance of getting into the tournament. They're not getting that large bid, right? This is it, and that guy just drains that.
And these are kids. Keep in mind, these are 19, 18-year-olds.
Well, at these smaller schools, it might be a 21-year-old. He might be a senior.
Maybe.
So, yeah, just an incredible game to watch. It's so much fun, and you're going to get them all week long. And then, you get into the weekend, you get the big name teams, the Dukes and North Carolinas and all, Kansas and Kentucky and all that. It is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to filling out my bracket.
Oh, you already have a bracket?
Well, no, I don't have a bracket. I'm just looking forward to filling it out.
Oh, okay.
I know it's not going to win, but...
yeah, my brackets are strictly a donation to the pool because I never win.
It's already busted.
You haven't even filled it out yet.
Yeah, well, you just know.
It's just, all right. Anyway. So, anything else about college basketball you want to talk about?
No.
Watch the tournament games, the conference tournament games. Watch them. They're great. I love it.
Now, there was a good NBA game this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great game. You had Boston coming in a little shaky going into the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break. And then on the other side, you had Houston, the home team this past Saturday, and they are looking phenomenal.
I'm telling you, and you know what I think? I mean, you had that one play by James Harden where he busted that guy's ankles, right?
Man.
And I'm going to go back to that in a second because there's something I don't like about that. But other than that, the Rockets haven't been getting a whole lot of play, right? Because it's always about the Warriors and the Cavs. But the Rockets are quietly looking to be very dangerous. In my opinion, the true finals, Warriors and Rockets, when those two meet up in the conference championship, holy smokes, pop the popcorn and get yourself a comfortable chair in front of the TV because that's going to be 7 games of madness.
The only thing I don't trust Houston. I don't trust Mike D'Antoni, the coach. I don't think he's ever won a big game, and so that kind of if we're saying Warriors and Rockets, then I'll lean more towards the easy pick, I guess, so to speak, right? The Warriors. But no, I mean, not to discredit what the Rockets are doing because they're busting their behinds and they're playing. They got a really good team, man. They got a scorer, they got a passer, okay, in Harden. They got Capella on the inside.
Yep.
They got experience with Ariza. I mean, they have a nice.
They have a squad.
Yes.
And they look to be improving. The more time that Chris Paul and James Harden are on the floor together, the better they seem to be gelling. I'm telling you, I'm not ready to call it, but I'm close to picking the Rockets over the Warriors. I think the Rockets are just wow, and the Warriors. I don't want to criticize because they still are a great team. Obviously they've won some championships here, but I worry about the head cases sometimes. Draymond Green can't stop getting technicals. Even Kevin Durant gets himself tossed every now and then. And I know there's a lot more leeway come playoff time, but we've seen some tension between players and referees, and I'm afraid that may continue into the playoffs where the referees won't swallow the whistles as much and will start teeing people up. And can the Warriors keep their composure? Especially if they get into a run and gun, top notch dogfight with the Rockets. It just makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been there. They've been there 3 years in a row. They know how this works. I think that is a special team that very few teams in the past can say that you can say that can turn on the switch when they need to and control their emotions a little bit. I see what you're saying, but I think they're just too talented, man. Starting five is just way too talented.
Well, and the other thing, too, is they've played a lot of games, right? 3 seasons going all the way to the finals. Yeah. It starts to wear on you a little bit. I'm telling you, I don't... Right now, man, I'm just about 50-50 on Rockets Warriors. And I think listening to ESPN and people like you who watch a lot of basketball, it seems like it's about 75-25. I don't think Houston is getting nearly as much respect and just a healthy fear of what they're capable of doing. It's just my opinion.
Well, a team like that riding under the flying under the radar can be scary come playoff time. So
back to the James Harden thing.
Okay. What did you not like about that? I mean, guy just
I didn't mind. I mean, obviously it's an incredible play by Harden, but the part that kind of rubs me the wrong way is that guy whose name completely escapes me right now. I apologize.
It doesn't matter.
He's a good defender. And he's out there busting his butt defending. And it's one play, it's 3 points in a game where they score 120. To run that highlight over and over again about that kid, I feel bad, and I feel like that's part of the not downfall, but that's why U.S. basketball is not as dominant around the world in the World Championships and the Olympics like it used to be. It's because we value that one moment, that one highlight, that one video of a guy who's doing his job. And look, James Harden is doing his job. And that 3 points didn't win or lose the game. I feel bad that guy's getting blasted so hard. And I almost wonder if it doesn't make him say, I don't know that I want to play defense. I'll wait till the fourth quarter. If it's close, I'll play defense. Which is the argument against the NBA and the product that they're putting out there in the first place, right? Is that the games kind of don't matter. It doesn't matter until they don't really start playing until the fourth quarter. I just think it's bad to just bash on the guy as much as we have. It's a highlight. Let it go. It ran on SportsCenter for 4 days. It started comparing it to other broken ankle plays. It's too much.
Well, it's all, you have to take into account, I think, the access to social media and the videos and the networks wanting to, get viewers or, whatever. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for the guy, but I mean, look, I blame his teammates, okay? Yes, James Harden crossed him up. You don't let him sit there for 5 seconds behind the 3-point line and let him make that three. You goaltend that thing. Yeah. Don't let him make the basket.
That's a good point. That's a good point because James Harden is kind of smacking him in the face after he does it.
I mean, you looked at him. You took 5 steps back that the refs didn't call a travel, by the way.
What's a travel?
It's when you take 100 or more steps.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a rule.
It might not exist in the NBA.
In college, they've got a travel rule, but I didn't know they had one in the NBA.
Yeah, well, But, yeah, I mean, the teammates should have, stepped up a little bit and, well, to the credit of the guy, he got back up and ran down the floor. And
that's a good point.
And you know what? Actually, you know what? One thing I didn't like was James Harden crossed him up, took 5 steps back, shot the 3-pointer, made it. The guy got back up, ran by him, and Harden, it looked like he taunted him. I don't think he meant to. he kind of pumped his chest, and I'm like, look, guy, you already did, enough damage to the player. You showed out, but whatever. It's basketball. Hey, you got to be ready.
Well, yeah, the NBA is a tough product during the season. I really, most NBA games. There's not very many teams I want to watch. There's only about 6 teams I want to watch, maybe 7. And even those games, I really only want to watch the fourth quarter, because if one team's up 10, there's a comeback coming. We're going to get a little something before the end of the game. Or it's close, and the fourth quarter is when they really play out. So,
and you know what's sad about that? That the playoffs are just as bad up until the conference finals, right?
I think they should do away with the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that
I
is
see
just
no point.
Or just cut it down to 5 games. There's no need to do 7 games. I mean, it is the quality of basketball is just not there.
The drama of 7 games I like, but I think you just do away with the first round. First round is a waste of time. It's mostly chalk. Top 4 teams advance. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, hardly upsets.
Anyway. So, going on, let's talk a little bit of combat sports.
Ooh.
Right? I'm a big UFC fan. And one of the amazing performances we saw this weekend was UFC 222, Cyborg versus Kunitskaya. And
do you know how to spell that?
No. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure if I said it right. I was hoping you would just kind of play along and assume.
Yeah, I'll be sounding like a dork.
Yeah, it's tough. I think her first name is just Yana.
Well, you should have said that.
Yana, yeah. Well, anyway, so Chris Cyborg defended her featherweight title, and she won pretty handily. The fight lasted 3.5 minutes. It wasn't very much. It was a blowout. And my comments are twofold. Chris Cyborg is head and shoulders the best female fighter on the planet, the best female fighter ever. She is the tip of the spear. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is just an amazing athlete. And I don't think there's anyone that's going to beat her until she decides she doesn't want to fight anymore. I mean, she trains nonstop. She took this fight on short notice. She's an incredible athlete. I met her one time. Wow. I mean, she is just an amazing athlete. My hat's off to her. Now, my criticism comes to the UFC. They've got this 145 division for Cyborg, and the only fights that they've had in the 145 division are the first fight to establish the belt between a gal by the name of Durandamy and Holly Holm, and then fights with Cyborg. Nothing else. So there have only been title fights. You got to build a division.
Yeah, I mean, three fighters is not going to...
Well, it's not even 3 fighters. It's really one fighter, right, and whoever they decide to put in front of her. Right? I mean, she's defended the belt. I think she's fought now 3 times or 4 times defending the belt. She won it. I think she won it off of... So the Durandamy lady, when she beat Holly Holm to establish the 145 division, she won. They told her she had to fight Cyborg. She said, here, you can have the belt. I'm going to go ahead and go back down to 135 where I belong. And then it was Cyborg, I think, against Tanya Evinger, and she won. And then she fought Holly Holm, and now this Kunitskaya lady. Hey, look, you cannot go. Surely there are more women out there that weigh 145 pounds and are willing to fight. And I mean, there's got to be there's no number 1 contender because there's no number 1 contender fight. It's insane. I don't know what the UFC is doing, but they have this dominant champion who has the backing of an entire country in Brazil, and they're not building a division. They're not. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she's gonna beat the crap out of everybody because she is the very best. But there's no interest in it, right? You're not a huge fight fan. You're not a huge UFC fan. But you're not going to be interested in Cyborg. You'd be interested in Cyborg if you knew who she was fighting, but you're never going to know who she's fighting because she's getting these one-off fights. It's just,
maybe
it's insane.
There's just no females that really want to fight. in that in that weight class.
There's probably no females that want to fight her.
Well, then you can't. I don't blame them. I've seen Cyborg. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight her either.
But hats off to her, though. I mean, she's an incredible athlete. The other fight on the card, the co-main event, Brian Ortega versus Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar, longtime 145, not champion, but really top contender. Brian Ortega, young up-and-comer. Brian Ortega beat him in the first round, knocked him out. It was one of those fights where I was hoping it would go all 3 rounds. It would be really close. No one would get knocked out. No one would get really hurt. And one guy won because I love both of those guys. Mm-hmm. But Ortega just beat him. And the really cool thing here is, we're talking about positive stuff here. Brian Ortega grew up in the streets in California. He's a positive role model. He started the Brian Ortega Foundation. This fight was basically to see who's going to fight the champion, who's Max Holloway. Brian Ortega is going to get that shot. He's establishing some scholarships and some programs around fitness in his area. Just a good guy, hardworking, trains hard, works hard, and now he's going to get a shot at the title after a very impressive win on Saturday. My hat's off to T City. I mean, it was just a really good performance. The fight was like I said, 1 round, but that round was action packed. Both guys were really kind of giving it to each other back and forth, and
that's pretty neat. He'll have a chance to get a shot at the title.
Yeah, from another good dude, Max Holloway, who's another young guy. But yeah, what Ortega did, and just what he's doing outside of the cage is very, very impressive stuff. Very impressive, and just a good guy. My hat's off to him.
Yeah, my favorite fight of the night actually did not come in the octagon.
Mm-hmm.
It came in the squared ring. We had 2 heavyweights, Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz.
Good fight.
It was a great fight. And you know what? I like it because boxing has not been in the forefront for quite some time, not even the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's gaining some steam, and you got 4 heavyweights. So real quick, Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder.
Was one fight.
Anthony Parker and Anthony Joshua is going to be the other fight on the 31st of March.
Right.
Before Saturday's fight, between those 4 fighters, their record was 111-0 and 100 knockouts.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So you had
That's the only way they're going to lose is if they fight each other.
Yeah, might as well settle the score.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So Luis Ortiz, a 38-year-old, he's a kind of heavy set, but I mean, he put up a great fight.
Well, he had Wilder hurt there for a couple times.
Man, listen, the first 4 rounds, they were giving it to Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I saw it.
And then I don't know if fatigue set in or if Wilder's shots. Actually, not if I know. Wilder's shots started getting in between those gloves and hitting Ortiz. It was Wilder has a very unique style of fighting. Okay,
isn't it just like?
Listen. It's like me
Slaying
closing my eyes, lowering my head, and just swinging my arms. Now, I'm not going to criticize the guy because whatever he's doing is working, right? Yeah. I'm not here to judge him, but he gets his shots through, and when he does, they
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It is a problem.
So Deontay Wilder fought a great fight. He came back, and those 2 boxers. They both share a pretty neat story. They both of their daughters were born with some complications at birth.
Who's this? Wilder and
Ortiz.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool that Wilder at the end of the fight mentioned that. He mentioned that in a pre-fight a couple weeks ago. So it was pretty cool that he kind of took note of that and shouted Ortiz out. So good sportsmanship. Yeah. But it was a great boxing match, and I can't wait to watch the the fight on the 31st.
Joshua and Parker.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So I saw bits and pieces and of the Wilder fight. It was a little concerning that Ortiz got to him. It kind of makes me. I personally think that Anthony Joshua is is when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be the man. And as I watched Wilder, and I've thought this before, I worry that Joshua will pick him apart, and I think we'll see Joshua pick apart Anthony Parker.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to do the same thing to Wilder. That's really my concern. And another guy that you didn't mention is Tyson Fury, which Tyson Fury I don't think is the greatest fighter in the world, but I do think technically he's good. So I think he could deal with Wilder and with Joshua. The problem with him is he's got to get his head on straight, right? Because that guy, he's got all kinds of issues and issues with depression, apparently some dabbling in drugs. I mean, there's issues there. Right. But if he gets his head on straight,
he could,
yikes.
I mean, he's definitely a you know.
And I think he's the biggest and strongest out of those 5 guys that we've talked about.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I mean, Joshua's pretty. That guy's huge, man.
Oh my God!
I mean, these are heavyweights, so they're all going to be pretty big guys.
They look like. I mean, they look like something out of Transformers. I mean, they're just ridiculous.
Who was your favorite heavyweight?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
I mean, I got to see Muhammad Ali. Granted, it was he was a little bit past his prime when I first started watching, but of course I got to see the highlights and replays and. Back when I was a kid, they used to replay entire fights. So I got to see him fight George Foreman and Ken Norton and Joe Frazier and stuff. And the thing about Ali that was so fantastic was not, he was known really for his speed, but the sting of those punches, man, he would put it on people. It was impressive to watch. Something that now, and I think part of the reason why heavyweights are not as appealing as they used to be, is there is kind of no speed factor now. Now it seems like it's all power.
Right.
And these guys that we're talking about here, they have it in spades. Because good grief.
Yeah, I would not dare to step in the ring with any of them.
No, if I was 100 pounds heavier, I wouldn't dare to step into the ring with them. I mean, they're amazing athletes. And I mean, I've seen Anthony Joshua mess around with a soccer ball and stuff. I mean, that guy can move.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, he's just all that weight and he's just moving around like it's nothing.
Natural born, man. They just
natural born, yeah. Speaking of soccer balls, a little bit here about soccer. Lionel Messi scored his 600th goal
in the game.
No,
holy cow!
Man, that would be a record. Huh?
That would be.
600 goals in 90 minutes. That's one like every 15 seconds. No, in his career, he scored his 600th goal in Barcelona's win over the weekend.
Now, is that with Barcelona and the select team and all that?
That's all Barcelona.
That's only with Barcelona.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So, 600 goals with Barcelona. If you want to put that in perspective, in a game that does not have a whole lot of scoring, they play roughly 45 games a year, 45 to 50 games a year. Barcelona probably plays 50, right? Because they play their league games, then they play in these cups, they play in the European Championship. So it's probably about 50 games. And he plays all of them. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't, they don't sit him very often. They don't protect him. He's out there playing. So to put it in perspective, if he scored a goal in every single game he played in, that's 12 years of scoring a goal in every single game. And it's soccer. There are teams that go a month with 0-0 ties. You know what I mean? And it is truly incredible. He is just an amazing athlete. Yeah. Just a wizard. A wizard in the truest sense of the word. When you see what those guys do with a soccer ball, it's incredible to watch any of those guys mess around and practice in warm-ups. But he does it in the heat of a game, sometimes against 2, 3, 4 defenders at a time. He does it at top speed, which is just amazing to watch. And
he's getting hammered every time he drives to the area.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's getting pounded. They're sweeping his leg like Karate Kid. I mean, they're hurting the guy.
And he's been doing it for a bit now.
Right.
I mean, he's not a flash in the pan. Obviously, 600 goals is not a flash, but this is a long, sustained period of really of excellence. And I'd be wrong to not mention Ronaldo, because in the soccer world, when you're talking about the very best players in the world, it's Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's 1 year Cristiano Ronaldo's a little bit better, 1 year Messi's a little bit better. And these two guys have been at that top level for a number of years. They've been sharing the player of the year back and forth between them, and there's no clear number one. There's no clear number two coming up behind them either.
Right.
They are just that far ahead. And there's other guys that are good, but I mean, they're not even in the conversation. Yeah. They talk about the player of the year. The FIFA has a player of the year award every year. They don't talk about anyone else. It's who's going to win, Messi or Ronaldo. Those two guys, and Ronaldo's got some ridiculous amount of goals as well. I don't know if it's 600 or whatever, but again, just amazing what those guys do and what they've done.
Yeah, soccer's definitely gonna miss them when they hang them up.
Yeah, and I mean, there's kind of a vacuum, right? It's kind of like when Jordan retired from the NBA, or when he started to decline and go play baseball and Wizards and stuff like that. There's kind of a vacuum of who is our best player going to be, until LeBron came around and obviously established himself. And honestly, I think we're going to have the same thing when LeBron leaves. I think, like with everything else, we don't appreciate greatness until it's gone.
Right.
And I think we're going to see it with LeBron as well.
Well, hold on. You can't skip from Jordan to LeBron without mentioning Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant's he's an actor now. He's not.
Oh, that's right. He was a horrible basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember him from basketball, but I do remember him from that piece that he did.
Yes.
That
short film.
We should do a short film.
What would we film about?
Who cares?
Just make it a real short film.
As long as it's short, we can do 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We can do a 30-minute podcast. Surely we can do 5 minutes.
Dude, I don't know about doing a short film. We could barely get the mic to start working on this thing.
Shh, don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody. Hey, here's my question. This was on ESPN this morning. And to me, this is a no-brainer, but whatever. Which would you rather have? A championship in your sport, so you were a baseball guy when you were younger, a World Series championship, or an Oscar?
That's a World Series. I mean, that's what I was born to do. That's what I dedicated my childhood, right? I mean, I played. Yeah. I mean, that's what I did.
But on the other side...
So, yeah, it's a no-brainer, World Series.
Yeah, no. I didn't think of it that way. Because here's the thing, right? Like, I'm a baseball guy too, right? I've been playing baseball all my life, and I'm good, right? I'm good all my life. Like Kobe. Kobe was always good. Right. When he got to the NBA, he probably felt like, I'm going to win a championship sooner or later, right? He kind of expected it. He's always been, like, the best player on his team, right? Yeah, it's not like you was riding the bench.
Yeah, I got all these damn splitters on my ass. No, I don't know, bro. No, you don't go in there expecting to win.
You do when you end up on the Lakers with Shaq.
Well, no, Shaq ended up on the Lakers with Kobe.
Oh, okay, whatever. But here's my point, right? Like, he's been the best at what he's been the best at his craft since he was 6.
Right.
Now he goes into something different, and he wins a very prestigious award.
Okay, well, then he has to win 4 more or 5 more. Because he's got 5 damn championships.
Yeah, but again, how long has he been doing the film thing? He won 5 championships, but he built up to that over 30 years, right? He started when he was 6. He won by the time he's 36. Now, in just like 3 years or whatever, 4 years, he won an Oscar.
Yeah. No, I mean, the accomplishment is great, right? Because, I mean, he went totally left field, and although this is something that he says he always wanted to do, but no way. Give me the 5 championships.
It's kind of like us, right? Like if we won an award for Podcast of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't have any of the awards.
We have to do it shorter, though.
How much shorter?
5 minutes. Well, I've got other awards. Like I won my YMCA soccer league one year.
Oh yeah.
There were 4 teams, and we won the champ. I didn't play much because
No.
I was kind of slow.
Mm.
Bad knees, right? So, but
Did you actually
I've
play?
won before. No, oh yeah,
You
I
played.
stood in the goal and just
Oh,
prayed.
okay. And just took the shots to your head.
Yeah. Please don't come over here.
Nah, yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's cool for Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me the hardware, the rings.
Do they get rings for winning Oscars or just
No,
that
they
trophy?
get the guy.
The guy?
The guy.
You don't get a ring?
No.
Or a jacket like the Hall of Fame? Like if you win the Lifetime Achievement Award and get an Oscar, like the Lifetime Achievement Award in movies, you should get a jacket. Like
Well, you should probably get a jacket, a ring, a crown,
well, you can't get a crown.
and a trophy.
Hey man, this is in England. We don't do kings and queens here.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's good stuff though. All right, we're back. We had another technical difficulty. We're using up all of our technical difficulties today.
Pretty much.
So, back to positive running. So, what I want to talk about with positive running is I want to talk about Roger Bannister. For those of you that don't know, Roger Bannister passed away recently, 88 years old. He was the first man to break the 4-minute mile. And, now people do it over and over again, no big deal. But I think Roger Bannister was a tremendous example to us. And as we talk about running and pushing ourselves and pushing the limit of what we can do. Years ago, when they were chasing this 4-minute mile, there were several guys that were hot after it, but they couldn't seem to break it. And the stories go that Roger Bannister was really the only one that believed he could do it. Everyone else was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to try, but it just seemed like an unreachable goal. And that's the way this running endeavor is for a lot of us. Regardless of what we're training for, regardless if it's our first time or our 56th time or 57th time, whatever it's going to be for me, whether it's a time goal or a distance goal, I'm going to run my first marathon, I'm going to run my first 10K in less than an hour, or whatever it is. We put that goal out there and it seems impossible at times. But again, the power of the mind, right? Roger Bannister had the power of the mind. He believed he could do it. And eventually he did. He became the first man to break the 4-minute mile. And so with his recent passing, it certainly brought to mind for me that we can accomplish a lot of things if we just put our mind to it. And really the only barriers to what we want to achieve, really it's us. A lot of times it's just ourselves. You can run that 10K that you've never run before. If you run a 10K and now you're training for a half marathon, which is almost twice as far. Actually, it's more than twice as far. You can do it. The only thing stopping you is you. You can achieve. You believe in yourself, and you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. For me, I've been struggling through my training here as I prepare for Boston. Boston is 6 weeks from today, and I've struggled in the last week. My body seems to be, I seem to have a few more aches and pains than normal, and I can't seem to be as fast as I want to be. But with the unfortunate passing of Roger Bannister, I've kind of thought to myself, I'm just going to power through, and I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to believe that I can achieve what I am looking to achieve in Boston in 6 weeks. And I'm going to take away that barrier. I'm going to focus on what I want to accomplish, and I'm going to push myself towards that goal and beyond, hopefully. So again, I encourage you, whatever your goal is, go after it. Go after it with vigor. Go after it with belief. The only person stopping you is you. And I will talk running forever because I love it. But I'm telling you, we always give out our contact info at the end of these shows. If you have questions about running, if you want some advice, if you want some motivation, if you want me to yell at you in the morning, reach out to me, man. I'll be more than glad to do it. I've got people that do it for me. I've got a buddy who, calls me or texts me at 4 in the morning and calls me all kinds of names and, just to make sure I get out there and run with them. I've got people in my life that do it for me. I will be more than glad to do it for you, for anybody, because your goals are worthwhile, and the only thing stopping you is you. So get after it. You will be much happier on the other side for having achieved it. Just one man's opinion.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't do much running, so.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. You do other stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes. I podcast.
Go for it.
I say we go into the shout outs before this mic.
Before we have any more technical.
Yeah, we're running out of our lifelines here.
That's right. Well, I'll let you go first.
Oh man, I haven't thought about the shout out this week.
You want me to go first, don't you?
So I'm gonna shout out my niece. It was her birthday. Today actually is her birthday. And I unfortunately did not make her birthday party that they had for her yesterday. But shout outs to her. 20 years old.
Don't you wish you were 20 again?
Do I? Well, 21. That's the legal. That's yes. No, shout outs to her. I hope you have many more and have a great dinner.
Okay, well, that's the end of the show because that was my shout out since it's my daughter. Just kidding. I do have a small shout out to my daughter. Happy birthday. I love you very much. My shout out goes out to a friend of mine here in the Katy area, Cal Neff. He ran the Woodlands Marathon this weekend on Saturday. He won the Woodlands Marathon this weekend in 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 15 seconds or whatever. The cool part of the story, as if that's not cool enough, the cool part of the story is he was running in the Woodlands where his brother ran as a youngster who can no longer run and no longer compete due to injuries, and Cal did a fantastic job. He's a really cool guy if you ever want to look him up. Callum Neff. He's got the world record for a marathon pushing a stroller. He's got 3 daughters, and he's a big time runner. Does marathons and ultras and all kinds of cool stuff. So my shout out goes out to him. Cal, congratulations on winning the Woodlands Marathon. My hat's off to you, my friend. It's something I'll never be able to do.
Cool.
Anything else for the show?
No, that's it. And like always, don't be a leader, be a follower. Follow me on Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on YouTube.
You can subscribe to the show on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Google Play. We're going to try to get it out on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. It may already be out there. I don't know. We're obviously not the best technical guys. If you want to reach the show, if you want to contact us, you can do so. Our email, the show's email, I apologize. The show's email is positivesports10@gmail.com. Positivesports10@gmail.com. My brother, you can reach him on Twitter again at Brooklyn Gaucho. If you want to get a hold of me and get some running motivation, if you want someone to yell at you, to go out there and get your run in, get your training on, or if you just want to talk sports, that's cool too. You can reach me on Twitter at eMontana21. That's eMontana21. This has been an interesting show.
Very, to say the least.
We obviously have to work on our technical skills, but you know what? That's what we're going to do. And we're going to ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.